Green button. Let's get started. I'm in a little early today, so we won't be starting for about 8 minutes. If you're watching the replay of this, go ahead and fast forward. I'm going to go post our link onto our website. The website is jollyrogerukulele.com. We are in the final week of the Foundation series, and so we will begin anew next Monday. And then this week, of course, we have kind of challenging but kind of beautiful music as well. So I'm excited about wrapping things up, getting people to figure out where everybody's going to figure out where they are and what their next steps are on Friday. So we have a good week ahead, and so there's that. Should be working. Hopefully the link is working now. I gotta go put us on Twitter, https://jollyrogerukulele.com. That's that. The little image of lesson 26. And then I hit tweet. Alright, we're up on there. I think that's such a funny photo that we use. Alright, we are up and running. Let me tell you about the week ahead. Today's Daisy Bell, one of the all-time great songs in my mind. Tomorrow is the key of F arpeggio. Tomorrow's a tough go, tough slog. Wednesday, not the easiest song, also not the hardest song, but definitely brings full circle from key of A the first night and second day to key of A next to last day. And then on Thursday we'll be playing Scarborough Fair. Nothing like a 400-year-old piece of music to keep us entertained. On Friday, Make a Better Bar, Daisy Bell, Key of F, Arpeggio, Aloha Oi, and Scarborough Fair. And then on Friday, people have to make their decisions, right? And so we'll be moving forward with all of that stuff. I'm going to hang out here for the next 5 minutes and do nothing while we are getting everybody loaded into the class. So if you are in early, let's have a chat. And if not, sit there and get in tune. Tuning up is not a bad idea, Gary. Like, wait, you haven't touched this ukulele all weekend. Let's go ahead and put this up. One of the fascinating things is this ukulele. I play it every day, of course. It's not my favorite ukulele, but it's pretty nice. Got a nice, pleasant tone to it, but the strings are now 6 months old, and because I'm a daily player, you can definitely hear sort of the fatigue in them, and just sort of the overall sadness. And those strings are like, we've given you all we can. It's probably time for you to give some thought to replacing us. Meanwhile, this instrument is like gotten even worse, and that sound to me is like, oh my gosh, it sounds like a rock being played. So if you play every day, you got to change your strings every 6 months. If you play like most ukulele players do, once or twice a week, probably strings will last you a year. They really don't last longer than that, even if you don't play it, because they're stretching and stretching and stretching, and they do become fatigued just by being on your instrument. And so plan on changing your strings once a year, no matter what. It gives you an opportunity to go down to the music store. A lot of people are like, oh, I'll just do it myself. And you're like, well, okay. But it robs you of the opportunity to go to the music store and look around and see what's going on, talk with the guitar guy there. Although music stores are getting harder and harder to find because the system that music stores used to stay in business in the past was completely and totally taken out by Amazon. The music stores never did make a ton of money off of guitars, never did make a ton of money off of pianos, never made a ton of money off of any of the big instruments. They made all their money off the little stuff. You know, you buy a kazoo for 50 cents and you sell it for $5. That's pretty good profit. And you try, you know, and so music stores stayed afloat by the small goods. Well, Amazon took that business away. That's where you go to get your small goods now, and there's just not enough profit in the other fancy instruments for them to stay in business. Music books was a big money maker for music stores, and of course nowadays you download everything, so that business went away also. So music stores that are still around, most of them are pretty heavy in repairs and teaching, and that's how you make it. So I'm not telling you to support your local music store. It doesn't matter whether you do or not. Their business model is what it is. But it is still kind of fun if you have a decent music store in your town to go down and say, hey, can you change the strings on this ukulele while I wait? And some of them can and some of them can't. But at least give you a chance. Go look around, see if there's anything new. Our music stores here have all gone to selling a ton of electronic stuff, you know, disco balls and all this stuff, which is like whatever. I guess somebody's got to sell that too. Vic is in this morning. Good morning, Vic. I missed you this morning. I was busy. It turns out they released a whole bunch of appointments to get vaccinated, and so I was busy getting signed up. I have an appointment for Saturday. Donna got her appointment right now, so she is in the process of driving over to get her shot right at this moment. Yeah, she said she screamed in from the other room, Gary, there's appointments available. Get online. And so that was right before I was getting ready to start the guitar class. I was like, well, I'll just cancel guitar. So glad you're here, Vic. Cloudy up in Eugene. That's probably what you'd expect, right? Let's see, Gary. I think I will email you for some advice. Love to hear from you, Janice. I'm always delighted to talk with you. As most of you guys know, Janice lives in Scotland, and ukulele is got a different history in the British Isles than in America. In America, Tiny Tim came around. That was it. We wanted nothing to do with ukulele. But in England, there's a guy named George Formby who sort of kept ukulele alive a little bit. People used to like to try to practice ukulele using George Formby's strum patterns, and so ukulele stayed a little more vibrant in England than it did in the United States. And of course, I don't know necessarily if Scotland has embraced the ukulele as much as other places, but Janice, you'll let me know, right? Send me an email. We'll talk. Donna, welcome in. She's a local here. Linda's in from, we had a snow. Linda lives in Colorado Springs, just south of here. We had a beautiful snow overnight, and I stuck to all the trees. It was absolutely brilliant. And then Janice says, I have to get a ferry and a train to my. Yeah, I have to get a ferry and a train. I am, guys, and I've just been neglectful about it, about posting a video on changing your own strings, and I just need to do that. It's complicated because, you know, my workshop is not very photogenic. And of course you have to, when you're changing strings, getting the right angle of the camera is very complicated. I've been just neglectful of getting that. I know a lot of you guys that would like to do your own. You just need a video of here's how Gary does it. The videos that are out there that I've seen, some of them are okay, right? And but I would like. Let me see if I can find some time to get that done. And I know a lot of you guys want to change your own strings. It'd be nice just to have a place where you can see how I do it. Let's see. Mary G is in up over on Golden. A little foggy in the foothills. Yeah, a little foggy in the foothills and in her mind. Michelle's in from Rockaway Beach. It's cloudy up there. Vic, have to get these appointments fast when they become available. Yeah, all weekend long, Donna had me on all these different apps. Try to get one here, try to get one there. We spent the weekend, never did get any. Monday morning, they of course loaded up a bunch of appointments, and we had to jump. So, but anyway, her appointment's now, and mine's on Saturday, and we're gonna get vaccinated. So, All right, guys, let's get into today's lesson. Today is Daisy Bell. Now, I will tell you, I will admit freely that I'm in love with this song, and I have no good reason to love it, but let me tell you a little bit about it and why it's important in our program. You guys have now been through a bunch of study in the key of A, E for baritone, and then a bunch of study in the key of C, which is G for baritone, and we did a bunch of study in the key of G or D for baritone, and now we're in the key of F, and F seems like the awesome key because the two main chords in the key of F is this shape and this shape. And you're like, my gosh, why don't we just play everything in that key? And then you find out there's a thing called B flat, and everybody hates B flat when they meet it, and you will probably hate it too, and that's okay. Baritone players, you've already met this. This is your F chord, and so it's not near the emotional turmoil for you guys because you've already been living with it. And you'll be fine today. Okay? Let's grab your F chord, baritones. You know your F chord is that chord that we're going to be talking about. Okay? And then ukulele players, you got a B flat. Let's talk about bar chords in general. When you have a bar chord, I think it's smartest for you just to train yourself to put the bar on and then put whatever shape goes in front of it. We talk about this in the next level class that comes after this one. I say do the A shape on the 4th fret, and so they know that means bar on 4, A shape in front. Do a C shape on 8. You know, so they go up to 8, put a C shape on, and they know that that's what they're doing. Well, you guys, when we meet B flat, it's really just an A chord, but you moved it up and put a bar on 1. And that's what comes out of your ukulele. Now, I think it makes the most sense for you to use a full bar because you have this shape, you'll 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 be doing this shape. You'll be doing occasionally you'll even do this shape. So you'll be doing all of this stuff in front of your bar, and if you use a partial bar, sometimes it'll work and sometimes it doesn't. In this case, if you just train yourself, I'm going to do a full bar every time a bar chord comes around. For the most part, you're going to reduce the amount of work you have to do and the amount of thinking you have to do, and that's what we do in music. We want to find a way to make things easy and fast, where you have the least amount of thought process that goes into it. There are a couple of exceptions. Your E7 shape, I don't usually put a full bar on. You could. I just find it awkward. Okay, so in that case, I use a single note. And then there's a shape called Diminished, which is these two and these two. And I have quite a number of students who say, you know what, it's just easier for me to put a bar on here and do that. So when we get to B flat in Daisy Bell, measure 5, I think you should put a full bar on in the A shape in front and just train yourself to do it that way. Now, here's what I know is happening. Okay, at your house, this is probably the sound you're getting out. Okay, and I want you to be okay with that sound. When you're clunking, B flat is one of the tougher bar chords because this bar is right up against the nut, so you have to press extra hard to get it down, and then you have to get this shape in front of it. It's not easy. Okay. Now, I was trained in the way most ukulele players are trained when it comes to B flat. You can take this finger, just cover 2 strings, and then put your A shape on in front. And when you see me play lots and lots of times, that's the shape I'm using. It's only because I was trained that way. If you train yourself to do a full bar, you'll get the same exact sound out, but you won't have to think about when you pull up to a bar chord, well, should I use a full bar? Should I use a partial bar? there's reasons you might think about doing it that way. Sometimes the transition might be easier. But I would say, generally speaking, if you see a bar chord, and I have gotten now where I write out in the chord chart, you'll see measure 5 there. I show you the full bar. I've been doing that on purpose because I do think long term it's just going to make a whole lot more sense for you to do that. I don't know why this phone's going crazy. My assumption is that a bunch of silliness is going on. That's exactly what's going on. So let me put this on silence here because we don't need to be listening now. So that's your big challenge with Daisy Bell. You're busy playing along, happy as a clam. You grab that B flat. It's going to sound like this, and you're going to be okay with that. The reason you're okay with clunking, 1, 2, 3, is because the clunking will go away. What's not going to go away if you let it is you stopping and freaking out that you made a clunk sound. That becomes a major problem. If you're like, oh, I'm making clunks now, one day they just come in. Okay, you're waiting on your hand strength to get stronger on that, and so while you're building up that muscle, be okay with that sound. It will go away. Plus, if you go to Hawaii and listen to them playing ukulele, a lot of times, ukulele ends up being used as a percussion instrument. So there's no reason why you shouldn't follow in the footsteps of Hawaiian players and be like, okay, I got that. Now, baritone players, you've had this shape as your F chord from the beginning. Probably a little less daunting for you as of today, but even still, it's still hard, right? Bar, the shape in front. Okay, and so let it be crummy for now. Eventually it goes away, guys. I've only had one student, took her 3 years to get her B flat in shape. But after the 3rd year, it was there. Okay, most people take a month or so to get their B flats to come along, but everybody varies a lot. Some of you already have it right now. Some of you is going to be a while. Mary says, do I text you or email you to come get strings on? Probably, well, that's hard to say, Mary. Send me a text, Mary. Send me a text. That will probably be more efficient. Q, can you include in that? Can you include in that? I don't know what you're saying, Q. Yeah, I'm always happy to put, if you live here in Denver, I'm always happy to put strings on. And you can come watch and learn how to do it, or you don't have to. Okay, if you can wait 30 minutes, it takes me about 15-20 minutes to put your strings on. That's easiest. And of course, if you are a lot of people drop it off, I'll give them a loaner ukulele while I spend the week doing it. Rob, welcome in. 64, cloudy. How's Colorado? We had a little snow overnight, so it's kind of cold outside. Beautiful. I suppose they have kind of a mixed week this week. All right, let's talk about your other chords on this song. You got a C7, okay? You got a measure 12, D minor. This is one of those worth memorizing. When you're in the key of F, and you have this shape, D minor is going to show up a lot. And so just remember, you're just adding your ring finger on there at measure 12. Okay? And then G7 shows up a lot in the key of F. Oddly, it doesn't really belong there, but it shows up quite a bit. And when you've got your D minor shape on, just notice that these two just roll down. You got your G7 on. That's it. That's all your chords in this song. Let's go through and play it. You're used to hearing this song as Daisy, Daisy, give me your answer due, right? Real snappy song. That's not what I've arranged here. I've arranged to make you count. You've got 3 beats in every measure. Let's count them out correctly. 1, 2, 3. Daisy. Daisy, B flat. Give me your answer, 2, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I'm half crazy, all for the love of you, 2, 3, 1, 2. It won't be a stylish marriage, 3, 1, you'll look sweet upon the seat of a bicycle built for two. Okay, last measure I just strum once and let the thing ring out. The key here is this is in 3/4 time, and you don't want to play what's in your head. You want to play what's on the paper. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Don't get ahead of yourself. If you get ahead of yourself and you get down to 28, where you have eighth notes, you're going to be in a pickle. So 3 beats per measure. Count them out if you need to, and you let your thumb just be your thing and be your guide for 3 beats per measure. You can also obviously be practicing with the claw. Daisy, Daisy, B flat. Give me your answer to. And I won't do the whole song, but you see what I'm doing there, right? Instead of a thumb, I'm doing a 4-finger pluck. Okay, that's going to come up as you move into foundations, out of foundations and into level 2 work, and all the way into whatever work you end up aspiring to play on your ukulele. You're going to sometimes be playing with your thumb. You're sometimes going to be plucking. You're sometimes going to be playing with your index finger. Daisy, Daisy, give me your answer to. I'm half crazy, all for the love of you. Okay, so you're going to be doing all sorts of crazy stuff with your right hand, creating much different textures, and I would be practicing lots of those, making things up. Right? Okay, so Gary says play with your thumb sometimes, play with your index. Daisy, Daisy, give me your answer to. You know, much different texture doing that. And then finally, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Daisy, Daisy, give me your answer to. I'm half crazy, all for the love of you. Okay, so that's your arpeggio plucking, which we've worked on quite a bit at this point, and so be mindful. All of those ways give you a much different sounding song, and you want to be just goofing around with all of those, trying to figure out which way makes the most sense for you, which way sounds the best, which way is the most fun. Now, we have the chords. Okay, so if you're a singer, you're all set. I'll see you later. But let's talk about plucking out the melody here. And as I've talked about a million times, this is the part I care about, that you can read these notes and pluck the whole thing out. There's 1s, 2s, 3s, and 0s. So you're just going to play in first position, 1s, 2s, 3s, and that's it. That's the only fingers you're going to use. Q says, I'm saying include how to put the knob on the end. Oh, yes, this. Yes, in that video I will do that, for sure. All right. Great idea, Q. Let's play the melody from the top. 1, 2, 3. 3, 2, 3. Oh, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Oh, 2, 3. 2, oh, 1, 2. 1, oh, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 3, 2, 3. 3, 2, 3. Oh, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 2, oh, 1, 3. Oh, 3, 2, 3. 1, 2. Oh, 1, oh, 3, 3. Oh, 3, 1, 3, 1, 2. 3, oh, 1, 2. 1, 2, oh, 3, 1, 2. Oh, 1. Oh, 3, oh, 1, oh, 3, oh, 1, 3, oh, 1, 3, oh, 1. Let's play it one more time. Playing it on kind of fast on purpose, so let's see if you can keep up. And this is a great opportunity. Hey, melody is what matters in all of the songs that I post on the site. Melody is what matters, and so as long as melody is coming out of your instrument and your mouth is turned off, you're going to be just fine. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. 201. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, that's your song. If it were me this week, I'd be just playing that over and over and over until I could get, because it's all ones, all twos, and all threes, and that's lovely. That's exactly what we want when we're wrapping up level 1. Just be like, you know what? We can totally knock that out. Question is, why would you want to play this song at all? Number one, it was the number 1 song from 1892, runaway smash hit, written over 100 years ago, and still people know the tune, right? So a pretty big song. The other reason I love this song, I love it, other than I get a chance to work with you on B flat a little bit, is that in 2001 A Space Odyssey, some of you remember that movie, some of you are too young to have ever seen it. There's a scene toward the end where he has to go in and unplug the computer that's gone rogue, and as he's unplugging the computer, the last thing the computer does before it dies is it sings Daisy Bell. And you're like, well, that's a weird choice of song for them to get picked for the computer to play as it's dying. And then you say, oh, but there is a reason. The very first song that was ever programmed into a computer for the computer to sing was Daisy Bell, and so you can still go out on the web and listen to Daisy Bell being sung by the IBM 7273 supercomputer or whatever it was at the time. Not that long ago, in the 70s, they did that, and so. Nowadays we don't think anything about having music on the computer, but at the time it was a big deal, and so that's why as the computer's dying, it sings a song that it learned as a child, basically, was the message that was going on there. Much sadder when you think about it that way than we mockingly refer to him unplugging the computer, right? The computer was dying. So why do we play the chord sometimes like in measure 14 when the note is not in the chord? So measures 14 and 15. That's the beauty of a cue. If we always played exactly what was in the chord, music would be very boring. And so in that case, measure 14 and 15, great example of, hey, the G chord is here, G7, but the singer is singing here, right? That's not even part of the chord. Now, from a music theory perspective, it really is. The note that you're singing, that 3, is a G note, and you're holding a G7, so it technically is in there. In fact, even as you're strumming down, this G note here is the same as that G note there, so it actually is in the chord in that situation. But I see your point. You're like, well, I'm holding the chord, but the note is here. It doesn't seem to match up. That's going to happen, and it's what makes music have tension. It makes it interesting. It makes it worth listening to. If everything was always 3 blind mice, every single note makes sense, right? Music gets a little boring that way, and so when composers are working, they're mostly following the rules, but if they followed every single rule, we would only need one song, and so there's moments when there's a great deal of tension. Same thing at measure 15, your C7 is here, but when we're plucking the note, we're plucking this note. It's not even part of that, Okay, again, technically it is. You're playing this G note here, but you're not playing. But the melody is here, and so you'll have lots of times when the chord says one thing, and the melody is doing something a little different. It makes music more interesting. It's like if you only had paintings, of me. You'd get bored with that after a while. Sooner or later, somebody needs to come and just paint a canvas black and hang it up on a wall, and people will be like, "Oh my gosh, what's going on here?" And so, yeah, so it's art. I think Q is the answer. And the more advanced the music gets, and the more interesting the music gets, the more we will see that. We'll see lots and lots of opportunity for music to be, here's the chord, but the melody is completely different. And that happens, you'll see that in Monday night jazz class. I mean, honestly, it is kind of unusual when everything lines up perfectly. And musicians do that, composers do that on purpose. They want to create some tension and some interest in the music. It makes music more interesting to listen to. So great question, Q. How Rob says, I remember the movie, not in the year 1890. Rob remembers. Rob and I are both 29 years old, and we missed the movie when it came out initially, but we have been able to catch it on Amazon since then. I own two movies on Amazon. You know how you can either rent them or buy them. You always rent them because you don't need to buy anything. But I own two movies on Amazon.com. One of them we bought when my niece was here, and she had never seen Ferris Bueller Day Off, and the only way we could get it was to buy. I think it was $3.99 to rent and $4.99 to buy. So I own Ferris Bueller's Day Off, and I own 2001: A Space Odyssey, which cost $16.99. Those are the two movies I own. It reminds me, when I was in high school, I had two cassette decks in my car. That was all I could afford. I had Pink Floyd The Wall, and I had Led Zeppelin's Zoso album, the one with Stairway to Heaven on it. Those were my two, and I would listen to one cassette tape for about a week, and then I would trade it out for the other cassette tape. So, yeah, things have changed since I was a young man. All right, let's play the tough acts. Guys, nice and slow. Nothing in here you haven't seen before, okay? Nothing in here. We'll walk through it one time, then we'll play it on ukulele, then we'll play it on baritone, and everything will be just exactly what you've seen before. The other nice thing about tough uke is actually easier to play than the chords because I've arranged around that B flat. So I'll show you what happens. Okay, grab your F chord, add your pinky on the 3. There's your melody note, and strum that. Then you take your pinky off and you play 2010. It's just an F chord now. Okay, then you just strum 3 strings, 201. You're still holding those down. You're going to play that 0 all by itself. Now, remember you had a B flat here. It could be a huge mess, but it's not. We're just going to play melody. 2, 0, 1, 2, 1. And then you put your F chord on. 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, 0. And then measure 9, 0, 0, 3. Okay, notice your chord's a C7, but because the melody is here, exactly what Q's talking about. Hey, you're not even going to get to the part that makes it a C7. 0, 0, 3. And then the chord, if I'm singing it, I'm going to play a C7, but if it's an instrumentalist, I'm going to just play a regular C chord. 0, 0, 0, 3. Measure 11. I'm going to go to my F chord, 2, 0, 1, 0. Play that. And then D minor, my ring finger is going to jump on here on the 3rd string, 2, 2, 1. Okay, let that ring. Then I've got 201. Measure 14. If I'm singing, I'm going to play a G7, but if I'm an instrumentalist, I got to play 0, 2 and get the melody note 3, so I'll just put a G chord on. Okay, then I've got a 0 at the end of measure 14, pluck that, and then 0, 0, 3. And then 2 zeros. And now I gotta finally play that 1 on the C7. Play the 0 at the end of measure 16. Measure 17 is a real C7. 03. And then 003, again a little different than the chord that we sing. Then hit the 0. And then you got 3, 1. and then measure 20, you have an F chord. Then I'm going to hit the 3, measure 21, I'm going to hit another F chord, and then 1, 2, hit the 1 again, 2, 0. Measure 24, another F chord strum, I'm going to hit the 0, 2, 0, 1, hit the 2, 0, 1, 0, that's a regular F chord, then 0, 0, 3, and then a 0, F chord, hit 2, 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 3, 0, 1, measure 29, you got your F chord with the pinky on the 3, take your pinky off, 2, 0, 1, change to 0, 0, 3, hit the 0, and then put your F chord back on. 2 beats, and then you're going to put a bar on 5, pinky on 8 to make your high F chord. Okay. Now notice, measure 32, the chord says you should play this one if you're singing, and you should play this one if you're an instrumentalist. Which one's cooler? Well, this one's way cooler. Okay, because it's harder. But if you were singing, you just play your regular F chord. Remember, on your sheet music, it's set up to be played in 4 different ways. One is to sing and strum. One is to play straight melody. One is to, and then of course, if you have a friend, you play the melody and they play the chords. So that's the third way, is you do duets from that. And then in the fourth way, the way that it's going to take you the longest to get used to, is the tough uke, where you're doing all of the jobs at yourself. And so be patient with yourself as that process goes through. I didn't just come into this and be able to read that either, right? No student does. It takes a little while before you start recognizing patterns, and you're like, oh yeah, I've done that one before. That's this one with my pinky, right? And so those patterns will start showing up for you. Let's go ahead and play through it one time, then we'll grab the baritone, and then we'll be done for the day. From the top, 1, 2, 3. 2, 3. 2, 3. 2, 3. That's a good song. It's a good song, great melody, cute little idea behind it. He's gonna get he's gonna buy a bicycle built for 2 rather than pay for a wedding. As a person who's been married almost 30 years, I'm gonna recommend that he probably needs to go ahead and get a second job, because that bicycle built for 2 thing isn't going to work out. He's going to need more money than he's got at the time. All right, so there's your ukulele version, and hopefully that's making some sense. Hopefully you're feeling like, yep, things. I'm getting the chords, I'm getting the melody. Tough uke is starting to come together just a little bit. Maybe not the whole way through, and maybe not at the speed that you can play it when I'm playing. But work on this stuff independently. You come here to get the lesson, obviously, and then you spend a little bit of time on your own without the pressure of needing to keep up with me. And between the 2 systems, you'll start to really get a handle on how comfortable you are with playing all of this stuff. Let's grab the baritone version of this. Bell baritone. Q says, I remember the movie. I also always wondered why the computer went out playing Daisy Bell. Thought it was weird. Yeah, the entire movie is weird if you remember. But yeah, that's exactly why it plays that at the end. You're like, why is it singing that song as he's dying? Because that was the first song it learned as a child. And so yeah, so that's I'd be high level nerd to know that. All right, Daisy Bell on baritone. Ukulele players, these are your chords, right? Takes a C chord, takes an F chord, takes a G7 chord, takes an A minor chord, and takes your D7 chord. So, you ukulele players, you should be able to strum along. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Michelle says, Tough Uke felt good today. That's where we're going, guys. That's where we're going. It's going to come a day when you're like, oh my God. Right? We're 26 lessons in. Being able to play, I would say, just a general observation for most of my students, adult learners take a couple of years to get pretty confident with Tough Uke. And so you're 30 days into this thing, 26 days into this thing. Don't put too much pressure on yourself that you should be able to play that. If it's feeling like Michelle's like, oh gosh, that felt pretty good. Yeah, you're on the right track. That's it. That's all you need to do. You just need to make sure you're on the right track. Right, and the way you continue, you gotta keep showing up. You gotta keep playing. You gotta keep staring at Tough Uke. You gotta be spending a little bit of time on your own. I know that this is by far, in my mind, this is by far the most rewarding way to play, because every single day it's on. Just like pulling up a new crossword puzzle. You know the tools. I'm giving you the tools. Every single day there's a unique wrinkle that you're going to have to be thinking about getting through. And so that's exciting, Michelle. I'm super excited about that. And Michelle, I think, didn't you come in a little bit late into the class? So, I mean, honestly, Michelle's just showing up and being a A student. We don't like those people too much. All right, let's play it. First, I want to play through the chords on baritone. Then I want to play through the melody on baritone. And then we'll play the Tough Uke. Okay, so chords first. And ukulele players, why don't you grab your accompaniment? 1, 2, 3. Daisy, Daisy, give me your answer. I'm half crazy. It won't be a stylish marriage. I can't afford a carriage, but you'll look sweet upon the seat of a bicycle built for two. There's your chords, okay? Hopefully ukulele players, you're probably playing along with me pretty effectively. Baritone players, we're now going to switch to the melody. Ukulele players, you stay on chords from the top. 1, 2, 3. Okay, ukulele players, how do we sound at your house? Playing a duet. I'm playing one part, you're playing a different part. Should sound pretty cool. Okay, Michelle says yes. Going to do the course again. Yeah, and again, we'll talk about it on Friday in more detail. But lots and lots of, especially online here, where I can't keep an eye on you. Probably a really, really smart idea to take the class a couple times just to make sure you heard everything right the first time. Rob says, Gary, the last time I played an instrument was when I was a freshman in the band. Thanks to you, I'm hanging in there. Well, that's actually, you think about the what is music. We get as in traditional music education, it can be a little bit of a drain because we're out trying to find the best guy, and if you're not the best guy, they don't really want to talk to you that much, and pretty quickly you're out of the band altogether, right? But ukulele is different, and is certainly every single thing I teach is different. I want you to keep playing for your whole life, and whatever skill set you bring in is probably helpful, right? When I took 10 years of piano, it had nothing to do with ukulele. I didn't know I was going to lead to ukulele, but when I got to ukulele, I knew how to read sheet music. That was super helpful for me, but a lot of you guys don't have that background, so we needed a way to get you up and running in a different way. And same thing with I was in the band in 5th and 6th grade. I didn't make it near as far as Rob made it, but that little bit of band background helped me know how to read sheet music when I got to piano. And of course, piano gets you really good at reading sheet music. And ukulele, what I didn't have was rhythm. Man, the nice part about ukulele, you really get pretty good at rhythm. And so that's why I like you guys to play chords a lot when I'm playing the other piece. Just get you comfortable with 1, 2, 3. That was 50 years and your last chair trombone, right? That's one of the challenges with traditional music education is they are looking for the best guy and or girl, right? The best player, and that player gets pushed up into the next level, and the rest of us are like, well, we didn't make it to be the best. I guess we'll get a job as an insurance salesman. That's how the world works in music, and eventually, you get all the best guys from all over the world. You stick them in the Berlin Philharmonic Orchestra, and you're like, oh, now that's music. The problem is that's just a teeny tiny, itsy bitsy percentage of everybody who likes music. The rest of us are expected to listen to Justin Bieber. I don't know what we're supposed to do. What we're supposed to do is grab a ukulele and keep going, right, and just play music every day because it's beautiful. All right, Daisy Bell. Baritone players, you're on tough uke. Ukulele players, play along with your chords. Let's see how we do. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3. Beautiful, nice little tune, and so hopefully that's making sense to you. My rhythm, I tried to get a little too fancy down there, measures 20 or so, and messed it up. So don't be a Gary. Just play what's on the paper. All right, 50 years ago, last job, 50 years. Rob, that's not possible because being being our age, 50 years ago was too far back. All right. So we know Rob's a liar, and we know that you're going to play Daisy Bell today, and you're going to play it again on Friday. Tomorrow is our last, like, sort of hurt your head, hurt your fingers lesson prior. Wednesday's lesson is not going to hurt your fingers. It is going to provide you with a definite challenge. And then Scarborough Fair, one of those songs we all want to be able to play, is definitely a little bit harder than we wish. These are stretch pieces here this week to try to just make sure we're in. Daisy Bell is kind of the last piece that's set up where, yeah, you should be able to play this, and in one way or another, and after everything you've been through. So there we are. I will talk to all of you guys tomorrow. I would, again, a brief advertisement for the next class. We're going to be, over the next month or two, cleaning up everything in Book 2. And that's everything that's sitting on the front page of the website. And it's going to be sort of random as to what I end up getting done. Whatever the lowest hanging fruit is on any single day will be what we work on there. But it's all stuff that's absolutely set up the same exact way of everything you're working on. Just give you another chance to just be spending time reading through the sheet music and playing that. If you can put in the extra time, please come and do that and just be getting settled in. I want you to play melody on all of those pieces, and sometimes you're going to end up learning a few chords along the way, and then of course tough uke for you guys is always plenty to keep you busy. So tough uke, I think honestly, guys, it's chord melody, finger style playing. If you don't sing, it's the way you're going to want to play. And so hang out with me, get where you're comfy with it. There's lots and lots of music on the site, and lots more coming. I intend to double the amount of music that's on the site over the next year. So let's just keep showing up, and you'll keep making beautiful music. So all right, guys, have a wonderful afternoon. Let's see, where did I leave off? Michelle, yes, going. That was 50 years ago. Oh, thanks, Vic. That's very kind of you. Thank you. Vic spends a lot of time with me, and she still thinks I'm okay. So either she drinks a lot, or maybe I am okay. One of the two. Or maybe a little of both, right? Rob, thumbs up. Oh, yeah. Thumbs me up. Get your vaccine. Be planning a random act of kindness for this weekend. Practice a little bit. Okay? Show up a lot. And if you're logged in, if you like and subscribe, that's helpful. All right, I'll see some of you next hour. I'll see some of you, the rest of y'all tomorrow. By the way, Rob, I was watching. We had one of those home remodeling shows on, and it was in the South, and the customers that came to have their house remodeled were super sweet, but every fourth word out of her house was y'all. I was like, is that Rob? She was a little bit younger than us, Rob. All right, cute. Yeah, it was 50 years ago. I was next to last year in violin, right? See, and here we are. We're all playing music. See, we didn't need to keep going in violin. I was first year trumpet in sixth grade, and then I decided I didn't want to carry the trumpet to middle school, so I quit. Nice job, Carrie. Really thinking it through. Janice says, you took you to Bee's Knees. Absolutely. Bee's Knees are awesome, by the way. Mary, good to see ya. And Rob says, nobody challenges you for third chair. That's a whole other thing. Challenge you for a chair. That is so annoying. I mean, honestly, what a rude thing to do. That's sick. All right, I'm going to pull the plug. You guys have a wonderful day. Thanks.